Okay, so I had so many feelings about this whole Ty Dolla Sign situation, and I just decided to make a video about it.
I'm the librarian, and I came to read.
So before I begin, I hope that you guys are continuing to go to houseofexpression.com and patreon.com/AdrianExpression. Your support means the world. I literally cannot do this without you guys. So thank you for checking those things out and supporting. And if you haven't, I hope that you can be compelled and encouraged to do so. But when this Ty Dolla Sign situation thing came out, now he had apparently been caught up, you know, in September. I think they stopped a vehicle in Atlanta, told all their ass to get the fuck out, searched their shit. They found cocaine, they found weed and shit in Ty Dolla Sign's possession. All the way since September, just now they indicted him. He's apparently going to be facing 10 to 15 years. If, you know, what I read was correct, he's going to be facing 10 to 15 years. So what I find really interesting is that the white supremacist ass system, this justice system that y'all, this justice system, I call it the injustice system, they know which ones they want to pick. They know exactly which ones they coming after, because while Demi Lovato's dealer was getting fucking interviews on mainstream media, y'all have these niggas going to fucking prison over this shit. Now the reason why I'm so upset about this shit is because I don't see why these people should be getting 10, 15, decades of time behind bars for the same shit. The same shit that these people on Wall Street are snorting up every motherfucking moment of their fucking lives. I mean, when I first took my ass to a college campus and I went to a PWI, there were all types of drugs. I'm talking about, I didn't even know that this shit was going on, you know what I mean? And to see people, to see niggas get locked up for the very same things that, I put this shit on Twitter and people are talking about, yeah girl, I work with lawyers and attorneys and shit like that, and they just be fucking doing lines like it ain't nothing. Somebody offered my friend one the first week she was on the motherfucking job. Like, I don't see why niggas are getting whole parts of their lives wiped the fuck out for the same type of shit that these people in power, who are the ones locking our asses up, they're snorting all the same type of shit. So what my thing is, girl, let's just cut to the chase. Let's make this shit legal and just let these and focus on education and rehabilitation. I don't see why niggas have to die. They have to get locked the fuck up to bring you the motherfucking drugs that your asses are doing and acting like y'all ain't doing. I don't understand that shit. And I know that may seem radical. I also put this on Twitter. I know that may seem radical. Oh, just legalize all the shit. But I'm here to say that's what I think should happen. It reminds me of these organizations. I also put this on Twitter. These organizations that make sure to provide clean needles for those who are struggling with addiction. Like, girl, these things are going to happen whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, these things are gonna happen. So might as well just make sure that the general population is educated, has access to healthcare, or has access to fucking rehabilitation. I don't see what the problem is, and I will show you an example, and I'm sure there are many others by this time, but I put this, we were having a conversation about this on Twitter, and there were a couple of people who mentioned to me that Portugal had done exactly just that. They decriminalized all drugs, and the results are crazy as hell. Now, this isn't specifically, this article comes from The Guardian, and they were talking about how Portugal, since it decriminalized all drugs in 2001, and this article was written in 2017, so I'm not sure if there's some more data that can be, discussed when we're having this conversation. But since it decriminalized all drugs in 2001, Portugal has seen dramatic drops in overdoses, HIV infection, and drug-related crime. Based off of my understanding and my research, drugs came all at once in a lot of these countries. Drugs just came all at once. So previously, Portugal had been underneath this totalitarian authoritative rule. And so when that shit was taken over, when they did a military coup and said, girl, not on my watch, they took that shit back. The general population of Portugal was so uneducated about, in things in general, but especially drugs, that when drugs hit the fucking country, it was pandemonium. You know what I mean? Overdoses, of course, when you're sharing needles and shit like that, you have a higher risk of HIV infection. They had drug-related crime going on all over the place. They didn't know what the fuck to do. So what had to eventually happen, because the crisis was ridiculous. Even the heroin crisis over there. So what they had to do was educate themselves on what was going on. They had to make sure that that their people were equipped with the knowledge that they needed. If these people are gonna do what they're doing, at least make sure that they are educated enough. That was like when, oh my God, I remember people from my church, it's almost like abstinence, like how they used to teach abstinence. Like, girl, just don't do it. That shit don't work. So just give people the tools that they need to navigate through whatever life they decide they're gonna live. That's it. And so we don't have people dying out here. So that's what Portugal decided to do. I mean, it took obviously a lot of time and conversation changing. They had to stop using words that, you know, were similar to junkie and shit like that to someone who's struggling with addiction, or someone who has an addiction disorder. You know, various cultural changes like that, language changes like that were important. So they decriminalized all drugs, and, you know, instead of getting time or jail time for that shit, what they did was you were either given a warning, a small fine, or told to appear before a local commissioner or a doctor and a social worker about treatment, harm reduction, and the support services that were available to them. So to me, I think that that is a more efficient system, and I don't just think it, I know it, okay? Because when we're talking about drug use and drug addiction, and they had very high rates of HIV infection. In 2000, they had 104.2 new cases per million, and it dropped to 4.2 cases per million in 2015. So that is crazy. Also, when they enacted these new laws, there were dramatic drops in problematic drug use, HIV and hepatitis infections. There were dramatic drops in overdose deaths and drug-related crimes, and also incarceration rates. So we obviously see that there is a system out there that works, okay? And I'm sure there are more countries that looked at Portugal and saw what they're doing and replicated that shit and tried to get the same type of results. And so if we see that something's working, why aren't we doing it? Now, keep in mind that of course Portugal's system is not perfect. This article was written in 2017, and even then they said that, you know, the momentum behind it needs to be pushed forward. There were some local activists there who were just like, girl, like, this is very cute and we did get the results that we needed, but there's so much more shit that we can do in Portugal. So that's fine and dandy. We all know that, you know, nothing is perfect. The system needs to be constantly tweaked and upkept for it to work properly. But why aren't we doing it here? I'm gonna tell you why. That last thing I said was very important. We had, lower rates of incarceration. And what America likes is high rates of fucking incarceration, because what you get with that is you get a controlled population, you get free slave labor, you know what I mean, and you get profit, especially coming from this prison complex. So though I think that as destructive as some of these laws against drug use and all this shit, you know, war on drugs type of teas, as destructive as it is to our own population, to our own people, ripping families apart, instead of, you know, offering treatment, rehabilitation, educational information about these drugs, as horrible as the system is to us, it will maintain so long as those type of people remain in power. The people who want to get as much money as they can from situations like this, from, you know, the racist ass motherfuckers who are up there wanting to lock our asses up, wanting to get slave labor out of minority people with, you know, without paying their asses. I'm talking about cents on the dollar, motherfuckers out there, you know, putting out fires for cents an hour. And the reason why I'm using Ty Dolla Sign is just because he's the latest one that got a lot of notoriety. But there's so many people, not just celebrities, but so many black people, so many minorities who have been subject to this fucked up ass system and separated from their families and incarcerated, mistreated, treated like second-class citizens because of the very same drugs, the very same habits that people who sit at the top, billionaires, policymakers, you know what I mean? People who are at the top of our society, they do the very same thing. They just are allowed to get away with it. So it's my idea is, if y'all gonna do that shit, because y'all do it, I mean, it's obvious. How the fuck you think these dealers making so much motherfucking money? Somebody buying it. Y'all buying the fuck out of it, okay? And y'all are using it, and we can see it every time y'all get up on TV and just be, you know, jittering and moving, bitch. We see it, okay? So the very same things that y'all are doing, it don't make no sense for these black ass motherfuckers to be locked up for the same shit. Especially for that long. My God, 10 to 15 years for pushing some shit that is clearly in one of the fucking cabinets in y'all offices. The shit is in y'all offices. Y'all do this shit at work to keep y'all hyped up. So my idea is, Girl, revamp the whole system. And it's not just drugs when we're talking about the justice system. I'm talking about everything. Revamp the whole thing. Let our justice system actually be a justice system. Let it be focused on rehabilitation, getting these people back into society, or making sure that people are educated about the shit that they're doing, the things that they're putting inside of their body, because it's going to happen. It's happening now. Y'all are doing it right now. I mean, it will be crazy how some of these Make America Great Again hoes be literally snorting this shit every fucking weekend, and then will be the same ones being like, oh yeah, lock his drug dealing ass up. What, like, the cognitive dissonance is so mind-boggling to me. And if we talking about making sure people are safe, making sure the community is safe, we can of course have age limits, all type of shit, but making sure that people have the knowledge, are equipped with knowledge, so that there will be less overdoses, there will be less infections as we saw, and there will be less drug-related crime. I want people to get with the fucking program, please. And if you have any questions, because I didn't even know that shit existed in Portugal, but I would suggest that people who are watching this go and look up what Portugal did. And I'm sure, as I said, I'm sure that system is flawed, but my God, it's better than the one that we have now. It don't make no sense to me. But I would really like to hear what you guys think about that. It's just too many people going to prison over this type of shit, the same type of shit that motherfuckers are getting their life off of. And it's just like, that's the same arguments that we were using when we're talking about legalizing weed, that there's so many people who are privileged and have enough power to do that shit without any consequences, and yet y'all are over here separating families, y'all over here destroying livelihoods for the very same shit y'all doing. That's the same conversation we had with legalizing weed. So I want the justice system to get it to fucking together, and only then will I be able to have a good goddamn evening. All right?